Welcome to an all-new Downright Sports. I am your host, Brent Reid, otherwise known as the Notorious Sports Critic, and we're back with an all-new episode here tonight, live on Facebook and YouTube. But if you're listening, obviously you downloaded the podcast, or you're listening on DJ Chase Radio. Dun dun dun. Well, if you never listened to the show before, it is a sports show for sports fans by a sports fan. Some would say the sports fan. Some would even go as far as calling me the ultimate sports fan. Now, if you never heard the show before, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Fun to be back. Glad to be back. Glad to do another show this week. A lot to cover, a lot to discuss. What a crazy week, right? So much, and we're going to get into it because this is a 2-for-1 segment. And college football playoffs are now set. The teams are in. Brackets are made, and one team is left out. That is Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is not little mad. They are big mad. And here's the thing. All right, Notre Dame, this type of season that they had this year, I'm not sure exactly where the anger is coming from, but Notre Dame this past season lost one big game against Miami, who made the playoffs. And then Notre Dame would lose another game, Texas A&M, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pulling that up now. Either way, they are extremely upset. This isn't right. How? We went on a 10-game winning streak. Blah, 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 blah. Notre Dame, without a question, is being penalized because they do not play in a conference. And many moons ago, it made sense for Notre Dame to be a independent team. It made sense from this was before. It made sense for them to be independent. Notre Dame used to be was independent. Penn State was independent. I'm sure there were other. I think I might be wrong. I think Virginia Tech used to be independent. If anybody's out there watching as a Tech fan, let me know. But this past season, Notre Dame finished the year 10-2. And basically their big losses, they have back-to-back losses to Miami and then Texas A&M, who did not make the playoffs. At the time, Miami was a highly coveted team, and that was a close game. The Texas A&M was a close game, okay? After that, they beat everybody. Here's the problem. All the people they beat were terrible. They blew out Purdue. They blew out Arkansas. They blew out Boise State. They blew out North Carolina State. They won by 10 over USC. They blew out Boston College. They blew out Navy. Pitt was supposed to be the trap game. Well, they blew them out. Syracuse, they won 70-6. And Stanford, they won 49-20. I don't know what Notre Dame is thinking. Those type of games and those type of teams only work if you play in the SEC, young man. And you need to understand that and get that, okay? Notre Dame has nothing to cry about. The playoff system is flawed, yes. They do not need to go to 16 teams. They don't, all right? I thought going to 12 teams was too much, too fast. The 4-team thing had more drama. It had more intrigue, who's in, who's not in, and I felt like you really had to earn your spot in. The playoff system is completely terrible in the sense of, if you look at how they break it down, look at this. Alabama, Oklahoma, both SEC schools, okay? Ole Miss, an SEC school. Georgia, an SEC school. Texas A&M, an SEC school. And Texas Tech is a Big 12 school. But out of that, if you look how many SEC schools have gotten in, why not just call it the SEC Invitational and other schools get to join? The playoff system in itself, like I said before, is completely wrong. Now, I feel like Notre Dame is fairly not in, but I can honestly make a strong case, an argument why they should be in over Alabama. Alabama is 10-3, while Notre Dame is 10-2. All right? If you look at Alabama's one big win on the year, Alabama's one big win was against Georgia early, and it was a close game, okay? Alabama lost to Florida State, who was garbage. They played no one. They lost to Oklahoma, who was in, and then they lost to Georgia, And here's the thing to show you it was a fluke. They didn't just lose to Georgia close in the SEC championship game. They got blowed out and scored 7 points. If we're stacking resumes and we're stacking who now, here's the amount of ranked teams Alabama played, okay? Alabama played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranked teams. We're not going to count the Georgia game a second time. So they played 5 ranked teams compared to Notre Dame's 3 ranked teams because USC is ranked. All right, they played 5, so it's a 2-game difference. All right, Alabama blew the doors off of Vanderbilt. They played Missouri close. They blew the doors off of Tennessee. Pretty much knocked them out of the playoffs completely. Okay, and then lost close to Oklahoma. Is the name Alabama more sexy than Notre Dame? I don't know. From a Northeast standpoint, it's Notre Dame. From a Southern standpoint, it's Alabama. From a Midwest standpoint, it's probably Notre Dame. I personally think Alabama is now in, and Alabama's going to face in the first round. They have to face Oklahoma, who they lost to. Who they lost to. Am I right? I just talked. Yeah, they lost to Alabama. They lost to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, in its time, has not done anything in the playoffs. They haven't even made it as far into the playoffs, and they haven't done much in a long time. Alabama has the pedigree of winning the championship, getting far in the championship. So this, in all seriousness, should be a good game on December 19th. But the $1 million question is, will this game really tell us who should have been and who shouldn't? That's beyond the point. The conversation is, should Notre Dame have gotten in? And to wrap this segment up, I can make the argument with 2 versus 3 losses. I'm going with the record. I don't care who they face. I'm going to say Notre Dame should have gotten over Alabama. Now, when we look at James Madison getting in, and if we're setting this up on resumes, because that's what we're talking about here is resumes. Hold on. JMU, right off of I-81 in Virginia, and Virginia should be very proud this year as many schools. They had, at one point, JMU, UVA, 2 schools separated by like an hour, both playing in championship games. I think Virginia should really, peacock that a little bit. They picked Virginia Tech, also off of 81, sort of. Picked up a big-name head coach to rebuild that program. So Virginia has a lot to stand on. I really wanted a tangent to kill time while I pulled up JMU's schedule. JMU kids played this year. Are you ready? 0 ranked teams. 0. Now, I understand they had to put someone in, a mid-major needed to get in. No. The purpose of the tournament and the purpose of the committee is to put the right teams in. And right now, they didn't put the right teams in. JMU is a fun little story, but let's not pretend we don't know what this is. You need to put a punching bag. Now, JMU could surprise us all. JMU in the first round, they're going to play Oregon, but you be a freaking fool if you think JMU is going to be able to last with Oregon, who last year made it deep into the playoffs, is always a perennial threat to go to the championship, and was the 5th ranked seed and has played actual competition. So if you think that JMU versus Oregon game is going to be appealing, if you think that's the game that's going to be close, well, I got news for you. That may be that could possibly be the most lopsided game of the first round. You got Miami, Texas A&M, Tulane versus Ole Miss, Alabama versus Oklahoma, and JMU versus Oregon. The JMU coach is leaving. I forget what program he's taking over, but he is out. Deuces. And then you have Tulane versus Ole Miss, who both coaches, I know Ole Miss doesn't have his head coach. So when you look at the playoffs and how it's set up, no, the answer is not more teams. The answer is Notre Dame should have got in over JMU, clearly, or Notre Dame should have got in over Alabama, because Alabama once again they lost 3 games, and in a head-to-head with their biggest rival, in a head-to-head in a conference championship game, they lost. So why are you rewarding a team that has more losses than the next team in? And you put them in over for what? For what? Nick Saban don't coach there no more. Even if you look at Alabama's resume, they beat Michigan, Auburn at the time. Auburn was ranked. They lost to Ole Miss. They lost to Texas, who was terrible. They beat Tennessee. They beat Alabama. And they beat Missouri. Yeah, they just kind of deserve to be in there. All right. Now, to sum this up for Notre Dame, if the answer for Notre Dame is very simple: join a conference, and it's not the ACC. Notre Dame should join the Pac-12, the reformed Pac-12. There's history. They used to play USC all the time. If Notre Dame would join the Pac-12, it'll put a jolt back in that conference that was stripped apart because the Big Ten got greedy and needed more. I would personally put Notre Dame in there. Notre Dame can take all their schools, their teams out of it, because joining the ACC is not really the be all to end all. The Pac-12 is yours. You would clearly win it every year, and not to mention you get that pipeline of that West Coast, which you don't really need because you're Notre Dame. But it's something, and that's what Notre Dame needs, a conference in itself. And if it's about TV, they have the contract with NBC. That could be the new Pac-12 contract. Quite frankly, they could pivot that, just put on all majority Notre Dame games, and I promise you that's the answer. It is. Now, will Notre Dame keep Marcus Freeman? No. Nah, he's got. I don't think Marcus Freeman's job. I don't think he should leave to join the Giants unless the Giants are going to promise him they're going to build a better roster. But he should stay. Right now, he's got success at Notre Dame. He should stay there. That's what I think. He's 38-10, 5-2 in the postseason. Overall, 43-12. That's pretty good. And he's been there since 2001. Honestly, we don't have many black head coaches in the big college schools other than him and Deion Sanders. And Deion's on borrowed time, quite frankly, because if he don't get Colorado turned around, Deion ain't gonna be there much. Deion gonna be hoping that HBU takes him back quickly. So we'll see. All right, we'll see. Let's stick with the football, shall we? And good segue from Deion, right? Deion's kid, Shedeur Sanders, was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, and there was a lot of hubbub and conversation on why didn't he go sooner? Why wasn't he a top pick? He was a great college player. He had good numbers. Other guys went ahead of him, including a guy that's on the team with him whose name escapes me. This past weekend, he balled out. His team lost, but he balled out. He was the first rookie quarterback this season to pass for over 300 yards, which is impressive. But yet, his coach continues to basically passive-aggressively discredit any of the work Shedeur has done. And I don't know why. And I don't think anybody really knows why. They lost to Tennessee 31-29. I'm pulling up Shedeur's numbers from that game. But if you are the Cleveland Browns, your franchise has been a joke. Next to the Raiders, next to the Jets, you have been a running gag and a running joke the entire time. Seriously, you've had a couple of good years. And you've had like 1 or 2 pop-ups. The Cleveland Browns are almost the equivalent to me as the Los Angeles Clippers, who we're going to talk about in the second segment. A franchise that we talk about way too much, but doesn't win or do anything. We go to the box score from Sunday. In Shedeur versus Cam Ward, who was the number 1 draft pick. Cam Ward, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Shedeur, 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Now, the big controversy was they had a chance to tie the game, and they did some weird 2-point conversion when you took Shedeur out. The head coach of the Cleveland Browns, for those of you that don't know, his name is Kevin Stefanski. He's been there since 2020, believe it or not. He's won 11 games twice with Cleveland, once in 2020 and once in 2023. His overall record is 43-54. His last 2 seasons, including this one, he's won 6 games total. I don't know where in his head he's become the be-all to end-all, but quite frankly, Kevin Stefanski should be trying to find a way to hitch his wagon, to hitch his star, to hitch his lasso to Shedeur's star. Because Shedeur is showing why he was good in college, and Shedeur is showing that other teams should have picked him. Shedeur's on a bad offensive team, bad, with a capital B. As the kids say, nasty work kind of team. Like, they're disgusting. And he has proven in situations he's making it work. He is not a run-first quarterback. No, he wants to be a pocket passer. He can run if need be, but he wants to be a pocket passer. And this coach rather give us excuses. This coach rather discredit. This is the scene from Any Given Sunday when Al Pacino's character did not want Willie Beeman to get the credit. Here's the difference. Al Pacino's character won 3 championships. He won championships in their fictional football world. While Kevin Stefanski has won nothing. Not even a push-up contest. He's won nothing. And he's at the podium talking like he's holding Lombardi trophies back in Cleveland. I got to spoil it for you. Cleveland has never won a Super Bowl. And they won't with this guy. The Cleveland Browns organization has made a lot of terrible decisions. One of them is in Tampa Bay right now, balling out in Baker Mayfield. They chose to get rid of Baker Mayfield. Sometimes people are better in certain systems, but in this case, if you're the Cleveland Browns, especially the ownership, what in the hell gives you the idea that you are the Dallas has wiggle. They've made some stupid decisions, but they're Dallas, okay? The New England Patriots, they could do that. Hell, even the Raiders can do that. Cleveland, shut up, pitch your wagon to this young man and see what can happen. See what you can form out of this. Heck, if I'm Cleveland, I'm firing Stefanski, and maybe I'm making a field call to Notre Dame and seeing if Freeman wants to come there, and you got this young dynamic of this young head coach who can speak to this young quarterback, and now maybe you make some magic happen. Maybe. But the NFL is known for making stupid decisions, and the NFL is known for making, dare I say, stale-ass white decisions. Just today, it came out that the Indianapolis Colts, who just lost Daniel Jones, who was having a resurgence season, a bounce-back season, who just tore his Achilles the other day, they needed a quarterback because their other backup quarterback has a knee problem. So, did they pick up the phone and call anybody? No. They went to the old folks' home, went down to Old Shady Grove, pulled up during supper, and went and literally signed a grandfather. You heard me. They signed Phillip Rivers, who's 44 years old, last played in the league in 2020, who is a grandfather, which is crazy because he's only like 44. Like, how old is his kids? But one of these got like 12 of them things too. Signed him today because the head coach and him have a relationship. Holy crap. Are you for real? I've heard of some whoppers in my day. That one takes the cake. You signed a quarterback that been sitting at home playing pawpaw, and what? He just supposed to come off the... Don't tell me anybody that the NFL is the hardest sport in the world when you can get a man who's been sitting at home on his butt watching Bluey with his grandchildren and some of his actual kids because they're still young. Don't give me that. I'm going to give you an idea of some quarterbacks that are a lot younger than Phillip Rivers, who have played more recently than Phillip Rivers, or at least the same timetable. Robert Griffin III is sitting at wherever he is saying inappropriate things, but, he's young. Cam Newton's on TV, still looks in shape. Cam Newton at least went to the Super Bowl. Phillip Rivers never went to the Super Bowl. Hell, there's a quarterback fresh as a daisy. And all he did was just kneel. And you refuse to sign Colin Kaepernick. But yet Phillip Rivers, old Pawpaw, is sitting the hell at home. And if you're going to go that, you might as well get a better, more decorated quarterback at least. Go get Troy Aikman. I think he joked about that. Go get, John Elway. Who else is out there? Eli Manning. Hell, why not call Peyton Manning? At least he got 2 Super Bowl wins. I mean, quite frankly, the Colts once do good and then they go backwards. But I think it's absurd that a 44-year-old guy is now could be the starting quarterback by this weekend for the Indianapolis Colts. A team, by the way, which is in playoff contention. And if he wins, it's a great story. I already see Fox News writing the movie of the week about him. Phillip Rivers, they quote the grandpa quarterback. I see it. I see the headlines. Hell, it could be a Hallmark movie. Or this could end badly because that old man can take his ass out there, go on the field, and get the brakes knocked off of him in just one play. You got Aaron Rodgers, who is like 2 years younger than him, and Aaron Rodgers can barely move anymore. But yet Phillip Rivers is going to get it done. Who do they play? They play the Seahawks, who's one of the best-ranked defenses in the league. I hope to God he don't start in this game, because Grandpa may actually end up in assisted living this weekend. I'm just saying. Seriously. Sound like OJ. I'm just saying. R.I.P. OJ. God, dog. He signed a grandfather. I covered 3 things in one segment. That is exciting. All right, we're going to take a quick break. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, hey, I'm coming right back. Just watch the feed pop up. If you're listening on the podcast, well, we're going to go straight to the next segment. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening on DJ Chase Radio, you're going to get some sweet, sweet music. Subscribe and like Downright Sports on all social media platforms. Download the podcast on Spotify currently right now, but listen to it exclusively on DJ Chase Radio. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, of course, and look and go on YouTube for all kind of clips, all right? And then we got a big announcement coming at the end of the show. Please come back. I know some of you won't, so I'm just give you the announcement now. Next week is the NBA Cup, and we're going to call that live. Also, next week, the college football playoffs will begin. We're not going to call those games, but we will have recap games, but we will be calling a particular college football playoff game, which I'm going to announce in just a moment. And where can you listen to those live broadcasts? Well, on DJ Chase Radio. That's where. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with Mo Downright Sports. The remote don't work. Ah, there it is. It's about damn time.